Good evening, everybody. Episode number 77 of So What's Been Happening. We're getting through the numbers now. It feels like yesterday we were at show number 50, but time moves quickly, and all things are underway. All right. Let's bring on the great man, Lovey. How are you, mate? Welcome back, bud.
G'day, mate. How you going?
Good, very good, mate. It's Wednesday night, 6th of July, episode 77. So what's been happening? Just give us a little bit about how the week's been for you so far, mate.
Yeah, it's good. I think I'm going to struggle a little bit for my Lovey losers it, even if we get to it by the looks of our lineup and who's coming on later on. But been a good week. The only ever premiership I've ever won in sport was coaching Blackburn's development team 5 years ago. We had a reunion on Saturday night and Saturday afternoon and night, I should say, if I'm honest. It went really well. Just fairly quiet sort of week otherwise, which is probably a good thing. This time of year, it's you know what it's like, Aaron, with your Adonis-like physique. It's all about getting the rig ready for summer as well. So
I'm coming from the way back.
Mate, I had the old guilt trip Sunday session at the gym, and then that was it. I had another one this morning and yesterday, and I think it's more just get off the poundage, get the pounds off as best we can, and this is the right time of year to do it. Family was good. Can't complain this week.
Good to hear.
But I will find something.
Yeah, and shout out to Cuz, who's a late withdrawal. Hopefully everything's okay with him, and he'll come back on the show, I'm sure, next week. And Traps is going to also jump on the show next week. He's got his last week of ice hockey coaching with the kids. So it's all happening, mate. And just a quick shout out to Gooch over in Canada, who's on his way to Montreal for the NHL draft. So that's an exciting time to be at a big event. Absolutely.
They do things quick over there, don't they? You have the NBA championships done and dusted. The draft is literally a week later. And obviously the same with the ice hockey. I think the NFL is a bit slower than that, but that's all right.
Yeah, they don't muck around, mate. That's for sure. All right. We've got a couple of exciting guests tonight. This is probably two of my favourite artists at the moment. Absolutely. Matt Joe Gow and Kerryn Fields. This is a show that's coming up on the 9th of July at George Lane. Probably
nice.
It's very fitting to have these two beautiful artists at a beautiful venue. And I'm not sure if either of these two artists have played at this venue before, but George Lane, incredible little place. You've been there a couple of times with me. It's a great little spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring both Matt and I'll bring Matt up first, have a quick chat to him, and then we'll bring in Kerryn as well. And then we'll have a quick chat about the magic that's going to be on the 9th of July. Here we go. Firstly, Mr. Matt Joe Gow. How are you, Matt? Welcome back, mate.
How you doing, guys? Gee, you talked me up. No pressure.
That's all right, mate.
What we're about here, isn't it?
Good to see you.
Yeah, you too, Matt. How you going?
All right. Yeah, getting by. Looking forward to the shows this weekend. Like Aaron was saying, it's going to be good. Playing with Kerryn. She's a good buddy of mine, and I think it'll be good. We've done a few shows together, so it'll be like coming home. Yeah.
Well, that's an exciting time, especially on a Saturday night in Melbourne.
Yeah, in St Kilda. Yeah. So I think that'll be that's the first time I've played George Lane, and my first time playing St Kilda for a long time. Maybe a year or a couple of years, I think.
Very nice. All right. Tell me about the new single, mate. You've got coming out in the next few days. We've got a bit of a worldwide exclusive.
Well, the single Till My Whole Heart Bursts off the new record. Let me get the dates right. So it's July 8th. It's available to the public. It's being played on the radio at the moment, which is cool. You're about to play a little bit now, I think. That's pretty cool. The interesting thing is the song was chosen by people at the shows, really. What I did was, back in the old days, you couldn't go out and play your songs that are unreleased. That was a real big no-no, right? I remember I used to do that, and my label said you got to stop doing that at the time off the first record. These days it's a little different, and with COVID delaying everything, this record's now, I've had the songs for a while, so I decided to road test a few of the songs, like Sweet Collapse, the last single, and this one, Till My Whole Heart Bursts. And this one generally gets the best response in my set of the new songs, so I'm like, well, if that's what people want to hear, then let's release it as a single. So it was that simple, really.
Oh, beautiful. You're exactly right. Give the people what they want to hear, man.
Yeah.
Get you back next week.
All right. So here's the album cover for the single.
Yeah.
Beautiful little shot, mate. When was that? Where was that shot?
That was shot in what was the place called? It was the old mayor's office, I believe. Shot by a friend of mine called Colin. Wasn't shot for the single cover. It was just a photo shoot that happened to be taken, and luckily I look so good that I can just use whatever photo for.
Yeah. Nothing like a.
Well, no, my last cover didn't have me on it. It was like beautiful ocean. So I'm like, all right, let's put me on this one. And to offset, as you're going to see in the little snippet of the video, I'm nowhere to be found. So, yeah.
There you go.
But you got to promote you got to physically promote yourself, Matt. I mean, no one else will, so you might as well do it, I reckon.
Yeah, sometimes it's interesting. Like Kerryn's the same. She had a beautiful album cover, which she's not on that. Some of my album covers I'm on, some of them I'm not. Some of my singles I'm on, some of them I'm not. It's just whatever feels right, I guess. Yeah.
I think you're pretty photogenic because I guarantee if I was a musician, I would never ever be on the front cover.
No,
I'll never do it. I'd never do it. I wouldn't have the self-confidence to even go on one cover. There's no way. I'd rather have someone.
People talk you into it. Is the thing. They talk you into it. I didn't want to be on the cover of my. Actually, I'm not on the cover of my first album. And my label were like, you have to go on the cover of your first album. What are you doing? It's a debut. And I said, no. And but the artwork is really nice. It worked out really well. We got this beautiful artwork. Yeah. You've seen that Falcon, Aaron, that's on the t-shirts now. So I'm glad I wasn't on it, actually.
All right, here we go. We're going to play a little exclusive that comes out in the next few days. Till My Whole Heart Bursts. We're just going to play a little snippet of 30 seconds or so. If you can have a close look, if you can find Matt, you get a little special prize. But fair to say, good luck finding him. Here we go.
On top of flesh, where a maniac love till my whole heart bursts, baby, but we'll make it through. Barely held together, worn like leather, baby, but we'll make it through. Through the dark, through the storm, through the door. Yeah, we're born. Well, maniac love till my whole heart bursts.
There it is.
I came out. It was like 3 BPM faster for the first 5 seconds.
I was just about to say, sorry about the tempo a little bit at the start there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
The wonderful world of the internet. Just on tempo.
I was excited when playing it.
just on tempo. Do you find that in live gigs you change up the tempo of some of your songs? How do you go about it?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, most of them. Especially on Saturday night, for instance, we're doing it'll be an acoustic style setting. So a few of the tempos will be back a little bit, I would predict. That's generally the case. If you're doing a more intimate setting, tempos will generally be back a bit as a rule. At a big, festival full back tempos will be up. That's kind of how it goes, I guess. Yeah.
That's the magic. All right.
I actually saw. I reckon I saw Matt in the video then too. Were you out of control swimming down the river and hoping someone would rescue you? Saw you there. Yeah, that's what I thought. Gotcha. Yeah, I knew that was you. Flowing long locks.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, what we're going to do, Matt, thanks for that. We're going to just drop you to the back for a second. We're just going to bring Kerryn up, and then I'm going to bring both of you up at the end. So we'll catch you shortly. Thanks, Matt. And here we are with the opener for the night. And my God, what an incredible opener and a headliner in itself. So many great events. But I had the pleasure of seeing Kerryn at her album launch again, not when I say again, it was scheduled again and again and again, as all those little things were over COVID. But Kerryn finally got it done, and it was a beautiful album launch at Northcote Social Club. So let's bring up Kerryn, and we'll have a quick chat on what's going on with her. Welcome back, Miss Kerryn Fields.
Kia ora.
Good evening.
Thanks. Good evening to you. I don't know if were you on last time? Was it just? I feel like the show's expanded.
Just me. Yeah, well, it has expanded.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, I was a ringing a few shows in, Kerryn. So probably not. So nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Where do we find you tonight, Kerryn? Where are you hanging out?
I'm in Yakandanda, Yorta country, which is such a lovely place to be in the middle of winter. Cold, but really pretty. So I'm house sitting for Kat and Leisha from This Way North. Kat also makes these hats. So I'm tucked away here, having a great cold time on my own, writing songs and talking to you fine humans.
Fantastic. Lovey?
Thank you.
All right. What have we got with you, Miss Kerryn? Let's talk about July 9. What an exciting time to be alive, back playing gigs. I know you've played a few and you're up and rolling after all these headaches we've had in the last 2 years, but we were going to scrap all that. That's not happening again. So we're back playing gigs. Here we are at George Lane in St Kilda.
So lovely. I agree with Matt. I can't remember the last time I played St Kilda, which is troublesome. You know, this is a place I've played a lot. I lived there for some time as well. I've actually busked on the streets of St Kilda and played shows in the venue, so full spectrum. But I've not played George Lane before, and Matt and I really, you know, we have a special connection, and playing a show together is something I think we both try and, you know, map out a place or a space in which we could present what we do in a special kind of way. You know, we had that at the campfire at the Coracle a few months back, and we've shared the stage at the Brunswick Ballroom and just collaborated together in nice, cool ways. And I think this is a great show with a really careful and considered intention and what we want to do and how we want to share who we are.
Fantastic. It's so exciting to hear that both of you haven't played at that venue. I think there's a kind of magic that happens on a night like that when both artists or the whole lineup hasn't played at that venue before. That'll be really exciting because honestly, it's one of the most cute little venues hidden away in a little back street in St Kilda behind the George. And Lockie does a fantastic job putting that little venue together. He's had some fantastic gigs there. It feels so intimate. It's like a little lounge room kind of gig. It's beautiful. I can't wait to have you there, Kerryn. I kind of feel like it's my own. I love the place.
I didn't realize it was your local, your favorite. That's cool. I can't wait.
Have you stepped inside it before, Kerryn?
No, not at all.
Have you been? Okay, yeah. So I've had the pleasure of, I think AC escorted me one night into that bar. It was the first time I'd been, and he's spot on. It's one of the it's one of those amazing little bars you'd almost see in the older days, like near Abbotsford and all that sort of thing. It's nicely tucked away. It's just and I think it can cater for all sorts of musical genres, was what I could gather. The last time we were there, it was a young 4-piece band, and they were just absolutely rocking this little bar. But it can cater for. It looks like it definitely caters for a nice seated audience and all sorts of things. So, yeah, I reckon I'm going to try and get there behind AC.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
And
There we go.
great news is the tickets are selling quickly. There's not much left. From all reports, a little bit of general admission left, but all the prime spots are gone. So make sure you get a general admission ticket and get there, because I tell you, there's not a bad spot in that room, and they've upgraded the sound and stuff recently, and they do a really good job there. So I can't wait to have you there, Kerryn. But all right,
me too.
Let's talk about the album. I was blessed enough to be at your launch, which you finally got done. I just happened to turn up, but it was fantastic to be there. Tell us just a little bit about the launch date and how it feels to be finally back up on stage and getting the love done.
So many answers in one delicious conversation. I was wearing this shirt actually at my album launch. So there you go. There's some synergy there for you, my friend. It felt bloody good to be wearing this great shirt. I got it on the day of the launch, which is just a bit of a flex on my part. I really can't describe what that whole emotional, spiritual, musical experience was like releasing Water. It just felt so unreal to take this body of work and be thrust into just a wild storm of, nothing being by the book or the rules or like anything you've ever prepared yourself for in terms of launching a record. And it just felt like throwing a bunch of songs into a tornado and then just nuding up and jumping in. And like
beautiful way to report an album launch.
So
Wow.
you could feel that energy, when I came out with the band, and I was just like, I don't even think I talked a lot of bullshit, which is not, it's in my nature to go on tangents, but I think I just got up there and I just absolutely delivered the best I could and had just an insatiably good time. So it was great to celebrate the record as well at the end of the launch, which again was, that no rules, everything you ever thought it was going to be. Doing a launch that was at the at the end of an album's journey, like not really the end, but I guess the end of that promotional slather that you get the album out there and share it with your people and go online and do all that stuff. So you never know what a record's going to be like when you put it out. So the fact that what it was all right and people enjoyed it made that launch so much sweeter, because it was a celebration of what everyone already knew to be on the record, and to have watched it unfold and see its little journey around the world out of my hands. And so that was special as well. I don't think that'll ever be repeated, that kind of nature of launching as well. So I feel kind of lucky that I've got this really unique and beautiful message inside of a pandemic about fuck you, COVID, don't mess with me.
All right, let's talk album covers for 2 seconds. And this one is a beautiful one. Once again, Matt's right. You don't feature on your album cover unless you can see yourself somewhere hiding in there. But just tell us a little bit about this beautiful album cover, Water.
Oh gosh. Whew. I was just so fortunate to connect with this great artist, Louise Mitchell, who's on Gadigal Country in Sydney. And how did it even happen? I was in New Zealand. I reached out to my community and mailing list, and I guess those kind of closest following the journey of this musical life of mine, and said, who would like to create my album cover? And a whole community of lovely artists returned my message, and Louise just really struck me as an incredible, I don't even know what it was about the way that she creates. I just could see what she was creating, and it was just so fortuitous that I chose her without knowing who she is really. And then she said, after I said I would like you to make the record cover. She said, I actually met you at the Blue Mountains Music Festival, and and I've got your signed CD. And so the fact that this woman was like a true and lovely, genuine fan of what I do, and that she was all the way in Sydney and I was in New Zealand, and it was just so lovely. And so she got to listen to the record before I released it, of course, but listen to it as a way of being inspired to create the cover. And it just spoke to the record, and I really love it. Like, I really, really love it. I think it's just such a beautiful piece of art. And on top of that, I wanted to have something, if I'm going to print something in physical realm, whether or not you listen to CDs or not, people still purchase them. And so I kind of made this more of an envelope disc with the artwork on it. So even if you don't necessarily listen to the CD, you get this gorgeous piece of art that you can sort of slide into a diary or a journal and sort of keep as a piece of that time that we met and the art. And I just love it. I just love it. So beautiful.
I love the cardboard sleeve thing, like you used to get with your old vinyl. Like if the CD came in that cardboard sleeve, that was, to your point, so much more practical, but it just feels better. I reckon it feels a bit more genuine. As opposed, like you say, a bookmark. You can't bookmark with those thick, chunky plastic CD cover things. So, and they're always take up too much room. Let's face it. So,
well, we find these things, don't we? And it's such a shame. I myself have a library of great CDs that I stare at longingly and go, what am I going to do with all these glorious pieces of art, that I love so much? I'll die with them, let's be honest. I'll just be stacked full of memorabilia. But anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
What I'm going to do,
about that side too.
I'm going to play a little 45-second little snippet of a beautiful little clip you recorded not long ago, Kerryn. The song is called Escape, and it's a fantastic little clip. So here we go. I'm just going to play 45 seconds or so.
Head on out on your motorbike. We're gonna ride right through the night. Watch the sunrise stretch between our eyes. To anywhere but here, aboard the morning train that's driving me insane.
Wow. I say that every time I see something of yours, Kerryn, and hear your voice, but just tell me a little bit about that magic of recording that clip. There seemed like such incredible chemistry in the room for that moment, for that clip. And then we'll bring Matt up for a quick chat. So just tell me a little bit about that recording. Where was it and how did it come about?
It's at the Avery Studios. Fraser Montgomery, of course, produced and engineered Water and is just such a golden, treasured friend. He's created the Avery Film Division and invited us to record a song and with the band. And so it was just incredible to be back in the studio with, I guess, a band I'm so comfortable and in love with, and we really had no time to practice or rehearse or lock in. It's these COVID weird times and fractured schedules and coming back in and out, and the energy that you're talking about, I guess, or the chemistry is there because I bring them all together and love them all, and we have this great energy, but it's also that we really do have a heightened sense of gratitude and togetherness every time we play and what we do now. And I can definitely feel that in the energy of Escape. And it's just magic when you work together with a family of artists who just know what they're doing and they do it really well. And we really enjoy spending time with each other. And it feels so great to be lifted up by such great talent.
Yeah, beautiful. And I think one of the lines out of that, anything, anywhere but here. I can't think of anywhere I'd rather be than George Lane this Saturday night, 9th of July. So That's exactly where we all want to be. So let's bring Matt up and we'll have a quick chat about the gig and get some little bit of chemistry between you two. I know there's plenty of. Welcome, guys.
Is that so?
Good to see
Big
you.
group hugs.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So the magic of George Lane, you guys, I can't talk it up anymore. It is what it is now. It's ready to go. If you haven't got your tickets, you need to get them quickly because there's not many left. But just the poster artwork, I think, is a beautiful feature of this gig as well. Kerryn, what can you tell me about this beautiful, like, watercolor almost?
Oh, I don't know if I can share this because it's actually Matt's sister made this beautiful artwork for us. It came together within like hours. Matt and I were like, let's make a poster, and then I'll hand the rest of the story over to you, Matt, because that was a really special connection with our poster.
It was Kerryn's idea because we played a show together that Kerryn mentioned, Campfire at the Coracle. We tried to do it a first time, and there was a poster for that. That was wonderful. And then in the end, we played the show, and it was lovely with a friend of ours, Joyce. And the poster was beautiful artwork for that. And I think on this one, then Kerryn was like, well, we should do another poster. And so we were considering, like, just had a chat back and forth. And I thought, well, my sister is an artist. I'll just ask her. And she said, sure. And then I just threw her some ideas, sort of. She'd also seen Kerryn before, seeing her videos and heard her music. And so she just came up with that artwork, that image, ocean themed. And you see the sort of the halo is. She said that was a nod and homage to Kerryn, who wears feather and drum hats often, as do I.
That's true.
Yeah, and then actually shout out to Kerryn too. She because we got the artwork and then Kerryn made it into a poster by adding features at the bottom and making it lovely. So yeah, it was a great collaboration, and that's the wonderful thing about music in general. I think your opportunity to collaborate with visual artists or videographers or even stylists, if that's your thing. Do you know what I mean? It's a wonderful thing. So when I get to work with my sister's she was in my Break, Rattle and Roll music video. I've been able to work with my friends who are artists, and so it's always fun to collaborate with artists.
Go for it, Lottie.
I think kind of be careful here.
Sorry, I'll have to bring him back in a sec. We've got a bit of audio drama there. It's a bit chirpy. So apologies for that, guys. All right. So what can we expect from you guys as a? Are we full bands? Are we solo artists? What's happening on the night? Can we divulge any of that yet?
I won't speak for Kerryn. I'll let her answer what she's up to, but we won't be just solo. I'll have my Dead Leaves in an acoustic form, which I think will really suit the venue. A focus on 3-part harmonies. They're wonderful singers, Katya and Andy. And of course, be remiss to not share the stage with Kerryn, as it's our show. Kerryn is on first, but like it's just a double build show. She just happens to be on first. Next time we play, I'll be on first. So, but I wanted to make sure that we play a song or two together at the end. So I sent Kerryn a song a couple of months ago. I don't even think it was necessarily as a plan to play it. I can't remember, but Kerryn was like, "That's great, we should do it." And I was like, "Okay." So I won't tell you what that is, but we will definitely collaborate. And Kerryn won't be alone either. I'll let Kerryn explain what she's up to.
I'm bringing my angels, who are Liz Frencham and Tanya Bradley. They are such a stunning trio. You would have seen them in Escape. They stand either side of me, and they really do shine. So Liz, unfortunately, has actually broken her thumb, but she's such a warrior, like a weapon of music. She's got like other basses to try in different ways, and we had rehearsal last week, and she's playing the bass with my guitar like this, and like she's just so she can't.
Right hand thumb. Is it?
Yeah, so she's broken her right hand. So but she's going to be there, and I'm so excited. Like even if it's quirky, I'm sure it's going to be perfect. And Tanya's just as fantastic. So yeah, we're really excited. We've been keeping our shows really special and sparse in the winter time, so this is our only show together, really in winter.
Beautiful. I can't wait. We're just going to bring Lovey up, because I know he had a question for you guys. Welcome back, mate. Sorry about that.
My goodness, I think in Mirrabah the lines are finishing just before in terms of Wi-Fi or something. I was just going to make a really bit of a silly comment too. Punchline's gone now; it's done. Album cover.
That's so hot. You just came back in on a live stream to be like, you know what? My joke was back there.
Yeah.
Was in the...
That's
so hot.
Something about and baby, but that's okay. I don't think you guys are going to go down that path. Before the only question.
Sorry, what was that? Going down what path?
The Nirvana Nevermind Babies in the Water type path of an album cover. I don't think you guys will do that in a hurry. Correct?
Well, you never know. Give us 9 months.
Well, you want them to be taking the launch, so. Genuine question. The only one I've got now, the one I really wanted to ask you two guys tonight. I guess, Matt, last time we spoke on here, we were in COVID lockdowns and all the rest of it, and Kerryn, clearly you've gone through it as well. Since it's all opened up, how have you guys, like, from a mental health perspective, which is where I signed up to help host this with Aaron. How's your mental health progressed? I'm not saying it was bad, even coming out just straight out of COVID, but have you guys sort of self-reflected on how you felt from a mental perspective since everything's opened back up again? You can get to gigs. Do you feel like you're normal now, or what? How have you guys gone about that stuff?
That's a deep question. That's a deep question.
Heavy.
Yeah. Well, I guess for me, even to start with, I don't know if people realize, but it's not normal out there yet. And not me for a long time. So, it's far from normal. For shows are different. Getting people to shows is different. The energy at different venues, whether it's just, you're just out for a night, people are still quite afraid, especially slightly older people. And that makes up a large part of the demographic in the Americana world, So it's different. It's still different. But for me, like, getting back to playing has been important. It gives me a focus, and a creative outlet, and it gives me the social interaction. So, that's been really important, whether it's just going to a few shows with some friends of mine or playing shows like this. It's definitely, I would say, helped, and it's been good connecting with musicians again. Even, because in this organizing this show, I chatted with Kerryn. We chatted for well over an hour the other day on the phone about just stuff, so that's pretty cool. It's helpful to be reconnecting. We talked during COVID as well, but we just kind of commiserated together. That's
yeah. Yeah. I can only mirror what you
How was
say,
it for you, Ken?
The connection has probably been the most vital part, because I really can't speak to any kind of true reflection on my current state of mental health or ability to manage or understand it. It's still very much in the thick of everything still. So there's really no pushing through this yet. It could be a decade before you can truly look back on this particular pocket in time and go, oh wow. Because right now there's careers in question and logistics at play, and COVID's still out there, and you know, and music's still being written and creative spirits hanging on. But yeah, I guess the real truth and what Matt was saying as well is that connection and community, and seeing shows and going to shows and living presently, connecting with your fellow artists, and just being really aware of everything all at once. You know, whether that's good, bad, or indifferent, you're just really aware of it all in a way that perhaps we weren't so present to pre-COVID. So,
yeah,
you know, the more we can just be with one another, the easier it seems to be to understand.
Yeah. Thanks for that, guys. It's good. Thanks for sharing that.
I think
treasure.
I think one thing I've reflected on or appreciated, I probably should say more, is when I'm out at a gig now, I realise how many more people are involved in pulling together a gig. As you touched on, right from the initial band poster or gig poster, and it's beautiful, Matt, that you've been able to incorporate your sister and some artwork. So this gig will be a truly special one. Absolutely, to another feather in the cap, so to speak, for George Lane. I mean, this will be a beautiful event. So, but yeah, so many more people. It's no different than it was before. But I've just got a real appreciation now for all the people that come together: the sound guy, the lights guys, everyone behind the scenes, the bars, the glassies, everyone that puts these gigs together. Also, the important power of patrons in venues. So please, guys, try and get out and support some of these gigs if you can. Come and give us all a big group hug. And we all need it right now, artists alone as well. It's been a tough period for a lot of people, and it's by no means over. As you said, Matt, you touched on last time we spoke about touring again, and everyone just expected everything was open, and instantly you jumped on the road trying to get flights. Flights were just a disaster. Gear was going missing and not turning up, and it's just we're a long way from normal, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, last time we chatted, I was in Sydney, right?
Correct.
I think I had a couple shows there. So I go back to Sydney on the morning after our show. So that next morning, I'm flying to Sydney. But yeah, So last time my guitars went missing. And then my guitarist guitars went missing. It was an absolute shit show, and my flight was delayed a night, and missed a show. So, yeah, it's still a fight, you know. You're still, and like Kerryn said, we're still sort of in the fight. So it's hard to reflect when we haven't moved beyond. You know, you're still treading water. You're still trying to survive, and but you know that doesn't mean it's not beautiful. They're beautiful moments, and so you try to be really present and mindful of them, and you realize how special they are. All Kerryn and the shows that I've done with Kerryn have been really special, a wonderful energy, and like you said, AC, like every show, there's so much goes into even the smaller shows. There's a lot goes into every single show, so every show is special, and it's good that you realize that. You know, and I don't just mean special for myself, but it's an opportunity to watch someone perform and the other artists perform, whether it's on bass or drums, and the sound guy do his thing, and it's a wonderful thing, and I'm always honored to be able to take part in it, you know, and express that. And yeah, like we said, in St Kilda, because that's kind of where I came up in Melbourne. I used to play the SB before it was gentrified, you know, on a Wednesday night up on that really high front bar. We had so much for it to sound any good because the sound was so bad.
Mm.
Until they barred you from drinking before your show. They said, we're not giving you your alcohol till after the show, because bands were just sculling it all to make it sound better. Yeah, so I used to play here on a Wednesday night, just myself and a pedal steel player and a drummer. It was really random. Back at the Espy back in the day, you know. So yeah, it'd be good to get back in St Kilda. And I worked at a bar in St Kilda, just around the corner, a cocktail bar there. And I used to live in St Kilda. Easton, you lived there too, right, in St Kilda, Kerryn? Right, you lived there for a
I
bit?
sure did. Yeah, I sure did. I did.
Yeah.
I wrote St Kilda Pier
Yeah.
about that experience of living in St Kilda. I was busking with a broken foot and got my phone stolen from my back pocket. Like, it was dark times, but I just went all in. St Kilda's
Yeah.
vibe. I love it. And it's like a second home for me. Like, if I had to choose a suburb where I was like, oh yeah, that's my spiritual home. You know, my best pal lives there, and I've lived above a restaurant down there on Fitzroy Street, and I've racked up a few memories.
Yeah.
I'm on the badass side of town.
It's a lot different than it used to be. Fitzroy Street, the Espy for first of all, the whole of St Kilda really. The Casanovas sum it up. If you ever hear one of their songs about St Kilda, you'll get an understanding of what they're on about. But it's still a beautiful place, and one place that is a beautiful place for tickets for July 9, which is this Saturday night, georgelane.com.au. Jump on and have a look. There's multiple gigs coming up at George Lane, so always a shout out to the guys there. But this Saturday night is the ticket you want. And mattjoegowmusic.com is where you're looking for Matt, and for Kerryn, kerrynfields.com. So please, guys, bring a heap of merch for the night. I always tell the bands, bring the merch, because some of the bands get there and forget because they're not used to bringing merch again and all that story. So if you've got it, get it, bring it, and hopefully we can help put a few extra dollars in your pockets. So thanks a lot, guys, for spending some time with us tonight.
No problem.
We look forward to seeing you Saturday night.
Peace out, homies.
All right.
See ya.
Love.
Yeah,
Bye.
great, Aaron.
It was great to connect to those two guys again before Saturday night.
How good's that chat? That was and you can tell those two, even when they talk to each other, they've got quite a nice I don't know what you call it, like a link, if you like, but like they've just got a natural ability to communicate and talk to each other, which will obviously flow into their music. So that'll be a big gig on Saturday night. That'll be a very good gig.
Yep. One thing that I think George Lane does very well, the venue itself with Lockie, is his pairings and how he puts a night together. And I think he does it really well. So Matt was 100% right. Kerryn could have easily been the headline act. They're both, I believe, superstar acts in themselves. So it will be a great night. And hopefully there might be a little hint there that they may do this gig again in a reverse order. That will be great to see. So, it was great. I mean, I kind of planned that little chat for a 10, 15-minute chat, and 40 minutes later we're still talking. So it's great to see. So it's just great. Awesome to give artists a bit of a time to have a chat, and on a Wednesday night with not much else to do at the moment, have that chat. And
just on reflection, those sort of chats, like, I haven't got the greatest musical background of all time, but to get a real insight into all those sorts of things they were talking about, it's great for me, you know. And to be able to go to all those gigs and pick up the T-shirts and the like, it's why not? Just a great way to go. Different things.
Yeah, you're right. You talk about what, as I said before, what puts together and what pieces together a gig as such, and very much merchandise are all part of that. And to be able to support an artist the money goes directly to the artist, not through album record companies and all that sort of story. Sees it back in their pockets, hopefully. and to be able to meet and have a chat to the artists, that's what I love about the local kind of music scene versus the big bands, where they're, I wouldn't say I know these guys really well, but I know them enough to have a chat to, and it's just fantastic to be able to do it, and that's the joy of getting out there. So just before we bring our next guest up, let's just touch on a couple of gigs that we've got coming up. I mentioned obviously 20 times July 9 for Saturday night, but Matt's got plenty of gigs coming up as well, and so is Kerryn. But if you can't find one for Matt, then get on mattjoegowmusic.com and kerrynfields.com as well to find one. But tomorrow night there's a gig at Pome it's in Richmond. This little gig session that's been called the Unpaved Songwriter Sessions is a great one. The guys put together, up and coming artists, and put together 3 or 4 acts on a night, and just a tiny little venue. It's a little gallery. And I think they call it the Place of Magical Experiences, stands for Pome. And it truly is. Bernie's done a great job keeping that venue alive, especially through COVID. And yeah, what else is coming up? We've got Friday night is at Pome as well. So a couple of one of Berkey's absolute favourites is these guys used to be called the Warner Brothers back in the day, till someone decided that that's not their name and you can't call them Warner Brothers because we own the Warner Brothers title, which is mad. It's absolutely crazy that someone as big as the Warner Brothers has come to these guys and said, you better change your name. Just crazy.
That's just dumb shit, right?
Yep.
There's one gig that was alluded to me today, and we can plug it properly over the next week or two, but I'm actually really excited for this one. It's an older band that we all knew a bit in the 90s, the Faves. They're playing at the Brunswick Ballroom on the 30th of July. Can't wait to see them. I remember seeing vaguely at the Big Day Out back in 1997, and they had a pretty funny little 25-minute set. Some of their song lines, I'm going to actually go back and familiarise myself with some of their music because I distinctly remember some of their song lines were the funniest I've ever heard at that point in time. They were like a really intelligent version of Tism. So I think that'll be something I'll pop up for you. You can advertise that in the next week or two as well. But that'll be really another gig that might be up and running for people. Want to go and have a look.
Look forward to it. And Saturday there is another gig on Saturday night, which is at the Corner, and it's an old band back from the 70s, the Sunny Boys. So Berkey's going to be along at that one, so we won't see Berkey with us Saturday night, but he'll be out and about, no doubt.
Yep.
And there's plenty of other good acts coming up. So I just want to bring Nikita up, but I just want to see if her camera is working. But that's cool. No. Yep, all good. So shortly, camera's working. Nikita's ready. All right. So what we've got is a beautiful artist that we've had on before. And I call her artist because she is an incredible talent, mate. It's Naidoc week, as we know.
Yep.
Just tell us a little bit before I do bring her up. Just tell us a little bit about that little caption you've put on there as your name for tonight. I am for Naidoc week. Just tell us just a little bit about your thoughts.
For me, it's more just it's a recognition of our past and our history, and obviously for those that travelled well before us on our great land. I've been educated on our Indigenous community and how far back they stretch. Probably the easiest way I've been educated is through footy. And footy's a big way of life for the Indigenous community, obviously, as well. And I just think I just don't think we can. I worry about the debate we always have on this, rather than just let's just keep promoting the good things about our Indigenous community and what it is they actually do provide, and how can we get that more into the mainstream of Australia as it should be. So me putting that as my name tonight, I'm just hoping more than anything. It's just I want it to be something that people go out after tonight potentially and go and look and read about Naidoc Week and what is Naidoc. And for me, it's just a further education opportunity. We've got it at my work. So we're recognising Naidoc at my work. Unfortunately, I couldn't bring up the red logo version of Naidoc Week. We've got it. I've got that at work, but my technology capabilities are not quite so flash, obviously, tonight. So for me, it's duly recognising exactly who the Indigenous community are and what the opportunities that are still out there as to how they can represent Australia in a way that they deserve to. And, always having that conversation, but doing it in a really encouraging way.
Yep. All right. As we talk about Naidoc Week, we want it to be so much more than a week. You're 100% right. It should be just something that's in the forethought of our mind, and it just becomes everything we talk through. But the whole point of this week is to have the conversations and be having those chats. But obviously we talk about the recognition of our Indigenous culture, and one person that I don't even think she realizes it, but she's actually a really big inspiration to me, to be perfectly honest. And I know she'll be really humbled to think of that coming from me. But I've had the pleasure of working with Nikita through making some apparel, through various kind of sports and also organizations that Nikita's been with. But just let's bring Nikita up and let's talk a little bit about Naidoc. What does Naidoc mean to her and Naidoc Week, and also what she's got in her life and what she's got coming up. So welcome back, Nikita Rodemar.
Hello.
Back, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Good. So nice to have you back on. It was so long ago that we did have you on that first time with you and Dixon. Yes, I think. No, who else was on? Just trying to think. Now it doesn't matter. Name escape. Natasha, that's right. Natasha Bamblett was on.
That's
as well.
right. Yeah, that's right.
We had a chat.
It was Tash.
I actually think that was probably coming up to nearly 2 years ago. So that's how crazy things have been. If not, it was at least 12 months ago. So firstly, Naidoc Week for you. Just tell us a little bit about what it's been. It's been obviously a big week for you because there's been some exciting news as well for you. But just tell us a little bit about what's been happening.
It has been a different Naidoc Week for me this year. Very unexpectedly, it was unexpected as well. So it's been much busier. So it's just a totally different experience this year. Being nominated for Sports Person of the Year and was really, thank you. It was really, it was unexpected, but also because I'm so flat out just in general, I wasn't even aware of, that I think it was like last minute that I realized that I'd been nominated, and then I had to rush to the workshop beforehand. And then the award was the next night, and it was much bigger than I had got my head around. I really didn't think that I was going to win the award. Just because when I was in the workshop the day before, just the nominees were incredible. They were doing so much, and they really inspired me. We all shared our stories, and it was just a blessing just to be in that workshop, just to get to meet all these people, great people. And I almost didn't go to the award night because I'm not very good in crowds. It's just a thing that I've always had issues with. And because I really didn't think that I was going to win the award. But yeah, my partner and my mother pushed me to go, push through that anxiety I get being in crowds. And I guess I'm glad I went now because I won the award. So, just even the thought of getting up and talking in front of all the people, it's just a real it's just something I'm not used to. It's something I've always dodged my whole life, talking in front of crowds. And I knew that I would have to go and talk at the awards, and it was just I became overwhelmed really quickly. And but I got it done, and I was proud of myself, actually, just because, you know, it really is just foreign to me to get up and talk to people, especially about stuff that I'm passionate about. I get very emotional, and I knew I would, and I didn't want to get emotional in front of everybody, but I did, and it is what it is. And now I've realised, you know, that my community is acknowledging the work I'm doing. They are seeing it, and I'm grateful, and it's probably the best award I've ever won, you know, being acknowledged by my own people. But that's just the award part. Did you want me to speak about what Naidoc means to me?
I will,
first?
but let's quickly just bring up a couple of shots with you. I had to sneak a couple of photos in, and just also some other people from your community that are also acknowledged on the night. But I think this was a really powerful story I read.
This was cool. Yeah, beautiful.
This one in particular. So just let's touch on that one first, and that kind of not changing of the guard, but a handover from effectively from the last year.
Yeah, so that's another thing that took me by surprise, because, you know, I know Marissa well. When she goes and when she boxes, when she competes in amateurs, I make an effort to go and watch her just to support her as another sister, you know. And I'm very aware of her story and, you know, her struggle. And I was very proud of her when she won the Sportsperson of the Year award in 2019. But I hadn't made the connection that was the last person that won the award because of COVID. So I got really choked up when she got up and presented the award to me, because I just remember back then when she was having a hard time, and a few people had reached out to me, because I'm obviously another Aboriginal female in the boxing, in the boxing industry, I guess you'd call it, and, you know, reaching out to me if I could support this young girl, and that's how I came to know of Marissa. And then obviously she achieved a lot very soon after, you know, having such a hard time. And so when she won that award, I was extremely proud of her. And I remember I went to that Naidoc ball where she spoke, and it was just beautiful. But that's what choked me up at the award night, because when she got up to give me the award, that's what I mean about being so flattered. I'm always feel like I'm just behind everyone else, catching up. So when how it just all, I can't explain it, how it all connected in, you know, like how she explained that, you know, a boxing gym is what gave her that chance. You know, she was in foster care and for 10 years, I think, and she just needed somebody to believe in her. She said them words, and when she said someone like Nikita, it really got to me, because, you know, and then it really, her words made me think, wow, like, you know, like I'm just creating these programs for the youth, but I didn't realize until she said them words that, you know, I possibly have, you know, I've got kids in the programs that I'm running that are in the same situation that Marissa was in, and this could be a game changer. This could change their life. So the responsibility really hit me there when she said that at the award night. And it just, another thing that really I was proud of is that it was 2 Aboriginal women in boxing, which is mostly a male dominant sport, that have taken the award out, you know, 2 years in a row. So that was cool. But yeah, this is what I mean. I was, like I said, I feel like I'm always behind everyone else, catching up with what's going on, and it just hits me in the face at that time. So the emotions just flow because I'm not ready for anything.
Yeah. I love it. I know you had a question for Nikita.
I did. In terms of the what next, because of the award. It's great to get the award and the recognition that comes with it. So how will you, I guess my first question, how will you use the award to further progress what it is that you want to do moving forward? That's my first. I guess that's my first question to you: is how will you use that? Will you use that as some sort of momentum mechanism, or?
Yeah, well, I've had a couple of days to think about that now. Well, since I won the award, and I think it's a really good opportunity for me to promote what I'm trying to do here for young Aboriginal youth. Because I have been, it is a program that's been running purely out of, I've had to provide funds for it. I don't have any solid funding for the program as yet. And something I've been working on, I've always been a ground staff worker, I've been out in the community and outreach worker. So I have no really experience writing submissions and all that kind of thing that people do to keep programs together. So I've had to reach out to certain people to help me with that. So I am looking forward to, it doesn't sound that great, but not using the award. It has created an awareness for me, like put me out there. This is what I'm trying to do. Can you jump on board and help me out? Because the programs that I've been running have sort of blown up in my face really quickly. We have 44 young kids coming to the 10 to 16-year-old mixed gender group twice a week, and then I recently started for young men from the age of 16 to 22, and we have 12 young men coming to that, and that's only just in the last two weeks. This will be the third week. And we've got 12 young men coming twice a week to that one. But the mixed group has really just kicked right off. And, so the award, it's lovely being acknowledged by your own people. It's actually the best feeling. I've really enjoyed, just the acknowledgement. You're out there working so hard and with no money, and getting these big numbers of kids coming through, and that's a reward itself. But then when your community sees it and acknowledges it, it's a great feeling. And I do want to use this award. It's given me a few platforms to talk about the program, and network with people that can come on board and support the program. Because at the moment I'm trying to make sure, I want to solidify, I want it to be more stable, and I want it to keep going for the kids, and see how far we can push it, because they're showing up, and that's what's shown me with the program is, the kids want to do positive things with their life, otherwise they wouldn't come, so there's just a real lack of opportunity out there for especially young Aboriginal youth. And this is a perfect example. When you provide something, they show up, so that's, I really do want, to use whatever platform I can to get the word out there and get as much support as I can for these young fellas, because, I could seriously sit down and I could tell you a story about each child, like they're all very special in their own way. They're just really not, no one gives them any time,
Yep.
So,
you should be bloody proud of the fact that you've got so many young people already coming through your doors, and that hopefully can only just build and build. But like you say, I hope you get a network similar to Michael Long's Long Walk.
That'd be great.
Probably the one thing I look at, and he was my sporting hero for a long, long time. Something like that, I reckon that would be the goal, wouldn't it? To be able to just give that, like you say, give these kids an opportunity, but also a massive platform to say, hey, here's something you guys can come and achieve or come and participate in, and who knows how it turns your life around. Is it something like that, do you think, ultimately, you would like to be able to jump in somewhere like that stratosphere? Is that a bigger goal, or is that something you want to do?
I mean, I'd love to. I've got I love boxing. I love it. Boxing gyms create families. They're very, I've gone into boxing gyms when I've felt lost in life. And it's like a second family. And I wanted the kids to be able to experience that, to have a home that I'm very. The kids know that this is their boxing family, and with that comes responsibility. So if any of them are playing up in the community, they hate it, but they know I find out everything. And, we've got strict rules. So whatever we're teaching them in the gym, they know the first rule is you're not to walk out of the gym and use any of the skills that you're learning on to hurt anyone in the community. So when they're playing up in the community, I always hear about it, whether it be shoplifting, riding scooters, electric scooters through shopping centres. I find out everything. And, get videos sent to me of kids punching on. And so they do know the rules and stuff like that. But I've been really firm with them, and they know that, you're part of a family. So whatever you do out in the community, that reflects on all of us here. So I have expectations of them, I don't want them to I'm trying to get through them, to stop living them stereotypes. Young Aboriginal youth, there's a lot of stereotypes for Aboriginal people in general. And I want these young people to realise you're not that stereotype. You're much more than that. But often when they're getting into a lot of trouble, and even when the kids aren't getting into trouble, but other youth groups within shopping centres or what have you are causing drama, these young Aboriginal kids get targeted and they get kicked out or whatever happens. But I don't want them to have that mentality of being a victim. I want them to realise what they're capable of, and they do just need people to give them a safe space to grow and to realise what they're capable of. So I'd love it to be big, Yep. I wouldn't I'm not saying, and the talent is incredible. The talent's crazy. These kids are so talented, quick learners, and Aboriginal people do have natural ability in sports. It's just it runs through our blood, and these kids are just unreal. The amount, this started 4 months ago, when I got a few kids to the gym and said, no more hanging out at the shopping centres. I'm right over here. I want you to come train. And they really enjoyed that training session. And the next training session, they brought their friends. So, and their brother boys and their sister girls. And in 4 months, we've got 44 kids coming through, yep. and 12 older boys. So it's really blown up. And out of that 44 kids, there's at least 8 looking to fight amateurs, and some are coming not just the days that we're running the program, but they're coming straight after school to do extra work, extra training to try and reach that goal. And on Sunday, I took 3 young men to the amateur, the amateurs, the juniors, and showed them what, their weight division and what their competition would look like. And the fact that I got 3, there were more that wanted to come, but didn't get, we couldn't make it all happen, because that's the thing. I don't have the resources. I don't have a minibus or anything to take them. I wish I'm that broke for paying for Ubers. I'm telling you now, when kids are ringing me nonstop, they're stuck here or stuck there. And, so, I don't have the resources, but we're doing our best with what we have. But the fact that I was able to take 3 young men to watch the amateurs, they're starting to set goals and believe in themselves that they can be there, that they can do that. And I'm so happy and proud to be able to support them to do that, So who knows? Like, we might be finding the next Lionel Rose. Who knows? I mean, that wasn't a goal when I first started the program, but the amount of talent, I mean, it's unreal, especially the girls. They impress me, you know. They're the first to put the head guards on and spar. They're, you know, and just to watch how quickly they're developing, like how they're starting to learn how to use their skills that we're teaching them in the ring. And, you know, I recently had one of my mates from Sports Safe Australia, Con, he came out to the gym and fitted them all with mouth guards because I want, you know, their safety has to be a priority. So since they got their mouth guards, we've been able to start advancing their training and get them to really experience moving around in the ring together. And it's the best thing to watch. It really is.
Awesome.
I think it's incredible that not only have you offered them a safe space, Nikita, is the fact that and the magic that they want to keep coming back now. And it builds so much. It builds resilience, you know, it builds connection, it builds friendships. There's just so much happening there that you've been able to connect with for sure. And most importantly, give kids a sense of purpose as well. And that's just so important. So what I want to do is I want to play a little clip just to give us a little breather that goes for nearly 2 minutes. It's a clip you posted, Nikita. You don't know about it, but I'm going to play it anyway. And I think there's some really beautiful moments in this and some powerful words. So here's a little bit from Crow Boxing.
You can't change the rhythm of my soul. You can't tell me what to do. You can't break my bone by putting me down, or by taking the things that belong to me. 'Cause why? We have survived the white man's world and the heart and the torment of it all. We have survived the white man's world, and you know you can't change that thing. All the years that's just passed me by.
Duran Bundelini, that's my Aboriginal name. Also known as Robbie Thorpe. Right? So it's a real pleasure to come out here. It's the first time I've been out here. I love gymnasiums, places. Very important space to do things. Now how do you dream if you've got no space or no land to develop and plan on? It's hard to dream. Right? So you can create your dreams here. And I just wanted to say that because it's all a part of the Naidoc. It's all about our survival and struggle as a people. And you know, we've been under the foot for a long time, but we're coming up. Nothing going to stop us now. So be a part of that.
Pretty powerful, Nikita. Some of the words,
So
you know,
cool.
some of the words spoken there at the end. Yeah, it's incredible. To hear those words to have that connection and then have that place that they feel important. And the words, you know, everyone always listens to an elder and thinks,
Yeah.
oh yeah, you know, whatever you're talking about, you know, the kids, yeah, no worries, you're an old person, you know. But if the kids sit there and listen back to some of those words, super powerful. And to hear, you know, to give some kids an opportunity, as you said before, I think is one of the most important things, that legacy you're leaving here, and to be inspirational, to be a Naidoc ambassador effectively as well now, being a sports person. People will understand and hear the names of Buddy Franklin, Ash Barty, that have all won awards, but they may not have heard of you, but they'll know you by the end of this, because you're 100% right. People do everyone that won an award has an incredible story. And if you didn't win an award, they still had an incredible, powerful story as well.
Yeah.
And I think the stories from some of these kids that you mentioned that sit there in the gym, and I'd love to have a chat to some of these kids online one day, and maybe even in person, that we can talk to and give them a platform to just have a little chat about how they're feeling, because we
That'd
talk
be
about
amazing.
mental health. We talk about mental health on this kind of show and what kids have been going through, and I'd love to hear some of their stories of where they've been and where they are now and what they now aspire to be. That'd be pretty powerful stuff.
Cool.
So we'll do that. We will do that. We'll find a time.
Yeah, but see, you surprised me again. That was so cool because I love putting that. The kids have taught me TikTok, so they're always waiting for the next little TikTok that I'll bring out, showcasing all their skills and just their development. I did a really cool one when I asked Anthony Mundine, the man, to come see the kids and do a talk with them, and he was brilliant. He came, he trained the kids. He was so, he just invested all his time in all of them that whole time he was there. And at the end, just like Uncle Robbie Thorpe in that was on Monday, I held a Naidoc event for the kids, a 2-hour session, because I knew this week all the Naidoc events, it'd be hard for them to get to training. So on Monday, I said, we're going to do a 2-hour session. We're going to invite your family and friends or carers, whoever you want to invite, bring them so they can see how hard you've been working. And, we put on a big feed. And I had Uncle Daryl Smith, who is a past boxer too. He's a brilliant boxer in his time. He did an acknowledgement to country, but he also did a beautiful thing where he did acknowledgement to country, but he also spoke to the kids about the importance of paying their respects to our elders and loved ones that have passed over to the Dreamtime. And the kids joined him in a minute silence to pay their respects to all them people. And we'd lost a beautiful uncle from the Victorian Aboriginal Health Service just days before, so it was for him as well. So it's just important for these young ones to continue to practice our culture, what we do as people, how we honour our elders and our loved ones that pass over. And some of these kids have never able to experience any of that. Some of the kids there didn't even know what Naidoc Week means to Aboriginal people, because we have a lot that are in foster care and out of home care, so that's their only way of connecting with communities to come. So I actually dropped the age. It was 12 to 16, but I dropped the age to 10 because there was a lot of young kids that their workers were reaching out to me saying they have no connection to community. So I said to them, don't worry about their age, just bring them, we'll make it work, because it's important that they have that connection. So I ended up dropping the age to 10, but, I'm not fussed. If kids show up and they're willing to train, and no one's denied, even the kids, the Aboriginal kids, they're all being told, if you've got friends or whoever your people are, no matter what their background, bring them, because there's a lot of stuff in the community with the youth at the moment, a lot of conflict between cultures. And I want to try and use this program as well as a preventative, like bring your Somalian mate, or it doesn't matter, like, yes, it's Aboriginal specific. It was started that way, but, we've had other little, kids bring their little mates that aren't Aboriginal, and they've treated just the same, So, so also with Uncle Robbie Thorpe, I was so happy that he made it. It was last minute me trying to get him in there, because as a young kid growing up, Uncle Robbie to me is one of my someone I've always looked up to, and he's just like the walking, living person that the Naidoc theme this year is what he is, So it was important for me to get him in to explain to the kids what Naidoc Week means, and the history behind it. And he spoke that little clip. So he spoke for at least 20 minutes to the kids, and they were so engaged that, they didn't get distracted, because just the way he presents as well is beautiful. And he used to be a boxer too. He fought back in his day as well, and his idol was Lionel Rose. So he gave the kids history about Lionel Rose, which was beautiful, about where Lionel Rose came from. Like, he lived in just a dwelling on a dirt floor with his 11 brothers and sisters. And it was massive for the kids to hear that, because he became world champion. So, Uncle Robbie really drove that home to the kids, that it really doesn't matter where you come from or what your background, what you've experienced, you can be something, like Uncle Lionel Rose is the perfect example of that. And it was important for me that I was just wrapped that he said that, because coming from an elder who was around when Lionel Rose was his hero, it has more effect than someone coming in and just giving some information about Lionel Rose. Like, it was very powerful to hear it from Uncle Robbie. And that's been a priority for me, is to get, because the kids have lost the opportunity, especially through COVID. They haven't had that connection with elders. It's been lost. The elders' voices have gone silent. So I've really been trying to get as many elders as I can in as possible, to just be around the kids, to support them, and also talk to them about issues that they're facing in the community, because we were always told to look. That's how we've been raised, to look to our elders for guidance. And I want to reinforce that, because it's been a little bit lost, along the years.
Yeah, I think all I can say is, I said it at the start before I brought you on, and you are an inspiration to me. Absolutely, Nikita. And I know I've never probably told you that to your face, but I see a lot from the background, as you know, and I'm actually one of those people that likes to sit in the background a little bit too. But it's so great to see you push yourself into the foreground in this case. And it's onwards and upwards from here for you. And to have someone like Devon Haney turn up at the gym as well, I think is a massive testament to the strength and wisdom of the program that you're pulling together. And Anthony Mundine, obviously an idol of both Lovey and I. Lovey being a St George supporter back in the day, used to follow Anthony a lot, and not incredible. He was always an incredible athlete, but for his ability to switch codes and move into another career, and love him or hate him, as some people do, and he did divide people to some degree. But one thing he never ever waned from was being an absolute professional at anything he did, like his father Tony. So it's just so good that you've been able to get them to your gym, talk to the kids about it. I'm sure they've talked to their friends in the boxing community as well, and this thing will grow from strength to strength. So hopefully, obviously, it had a rebrand not long ago, and it was only a week or so ago, wasn't it, that you've actually announced the new name for the youth boxing crew called Crow, that you're calling it. Just tell us a little bit about that name, because reading the backstory, it's pretty powerful and special for you.
Yeah, it definitely is. When I pulled this program together, I called it the Koori Youth Boxing Program, because it's for Koori youth, and I just needed a name, to get it out there and get kids coming. But obviously, like I said before, I had no idea it was going to blow up so quick. And I love the name Koori Youth Boxing Program, but I wanted a name that was more inclusive, because to, like I said, when I speak, I tell the kids, they all know you can bring your mates. I'm not worried about their background. And I wanted a more inclusive name. And also, Aboriginal people, we come from all different areas of Australia. We're Kooris here in Victoria and New South Wales, but, we've got a couple of Noongar kids, so I wanted the name to be a little bit more inclusive. And I knew that I wanted to honour my father, who was known as Crow, because my father, everything that I'm doing now with these kids, my dad taught me. He taught me the importance of being in sports, that it'll keep you on track. Like sports was, he always made sure that us kids were involved in sports, and he always let us know how important it is to be in sports and to keep healthy and make friendships. And he said, like sports will give you another family. It'll give you a place to go when you're feeling lost. So I've always been, involved in sports because of my dad, and he made sure that we always had it around us. But also my dad's other passion was obviously the Aboriginal community. He lived for his community. He put years and years and years of work into the community, and he connected a lot of stolen generation people back to their people, and youth especially was his greatest passion. You know, he always told me how important it is to keep Aboriginal youth within the community, within family, if possible, that they needed to be with their mob. So all these things he taught me is everything that I now, as a grown woman and a mother of 5 myself, I do for my children especially, but also I've been working with youth for years now. You know, I'm a youth mental health worker. That's my current job, you know, and yeah, my dad's words and his teachings for me growing up, they're just, I needed a way, you know, after recently losing him as well, I needed a way to keep his spirit alive for myself. And I realized that a way I could do that is to honor his legacy and continue to do the work that he had done for so many years, and try and do it, you know, with the same values and morals that he has taught me. And so it was very important. And so that's where Crow came from. You know, he was known as Crow. And the actual name of the whole business is Crow's Nest. And I did that because, you know, I'm doing the boxing now because I had the space and the people that have helped me out. You know, I just work with what I had right now to you know, create these spaces for youth. Because honestly, it started because I was in a bit of a panic about my 2 oldest sons that were really struggling, and obviously having 2 teenage sons, I was able to see what was going on in the community through them, and it really worried me. But the big dream was always to create a service, you know, like a program, I guess, but, you know, I guess it's a business called Crow's Nest, where you know, which would be for the community. And I wanted to use the word nest because it's like a nurturing, you know, a nest is like a home. It's nurturing and yeah, so I guess that's all the little elements. I wanted to have my dad's spirit very much in everything I do. And, you know, Crow's Nest Fitness and Wellbeing is what the business is called. And I say business, I hate that word. You know, we're not making any money at all. I just needed I needed to create a register something. So if I finally get funding, which hasn't happened yet either, that it's all legit, you know, that there'll be a bank account and stuff like that. But, you know, I hate the word business and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's a non-for-profit. It will be a non-for-profit business. I'm trying to work out how to make that happen because I'm learning as I go. Because I've realized that if you apply for big funding, you know, all that admin stuff I'm trying to learn really quick. You need to have, you know, all that in place, the account number and the ABN and all that kind of thing. And so anyway, yeah, Crow, that's where Crow comes from. That's my father. And I'm trying to do everything that he taught me. Because my dad was well known throughout the whole community, and I still get people just randomly coming up to me all the time saying, you know, your dad brought me back to my family, or, you know, a lot of youth that he looked after. And yeah, that's where it's all coming from. And also I feel like the word Crow, it's more inclusive, you know, for everybody. Like it's a name that everyone can go under.
Yeah, it's interesting that he had that nickname and he was known by Crow for exactly that same value, because you're right, he connected so many people. Sadly, I never got to meet your dad, but I heard so many great stories about him, and everyone I speak to in the Indigenous community knew your dad. So he's taught you some incredible things, Nikita. And one is sure.
Yeah, he definitely has. But I always feel terrible when I don't talk about my mother, because she's definitely exactly the same. You know, they're very grassroots people. That's how they work. That's how they taught me to be. So she's amazing too. She's you know, they were the best of friends, and I can see why, because their values were lined up, you know, and they taught me very well. So I'm lucky for that. And like I said, I've got a lot of kids in the program that don't have that opportunity, have parents like I had. I was very lucky, you know, so trying to be there and be that person for them that will be there for them, like I was lucky enough to have two staunch parents that nurtured me and cared for me and taught me well, you know. So that's big for me too. I want to be that person. Like, I feel like I've got like 50 plus kids now, you know, they're just beautiful.
Yeah, it's pretty special, that's for sure. And speaking of special, you know, I can't pump your tires up any more, how much I appreciate what you're doing for the community. But also, you know, the fact that one of your friends, you know, is going through a health challenge at the moment, and you basically reached out, and effectively, how can I do something about this, and how can I raise some money, and just tell us a little bit about that story, because I was super moved by it, for sure. And that's why you're sitting there with short hair today after losing those beautiful long locks. So just tell us a little bit about how that came about.
Well, that came about because, the friend of mine, her name's Erin Wanganeen, and, you know, on Facebook, I a couple of months back, I saw that she started to share her journey, and I had no idea that, you know, she'd recently been diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, and I was shattered, you know, because I'd worked with her for a while when she was down here in Melbourne, and she, you know, you know them people that are just, you know, she's got the same kind of aura as my father and mum, just beautiful people, just, you know, always smiling and happy, you know, just so kind, and just a lovely person. And, you know, she's the same age as me. She has children, and it really affected me. And I reached out to her. She'd moved back to Darwin, to be with her people, you know, a while back. But I had the most fondest memories of her, just being the sweetest woman. And I reached out to her and I said, sis, you know, I just asked her, I said, I want to raise some money for you, because I knew financially she was struggling, because she's got so much appointments, and, you know, her partner, his leave was, you know, he had no leave left because he was trying to support her. And it really bothered me, you know, because, just she's my age, and she's got children. She's just a lovely person. And I asked her, can I do a fundraiser for you? And, you know, I said, I want to I'll shave my hair off, you know, I'll see how much money I can raise. I wasn't sure how much I'd raise, but she's like, are you sure? I said, yeah, you know, if it'll help you out, I'll do it. And she goes, only if you're sure. And she goes, you have my blessing. And I said, all right, no worries. And I just set up a GoFundMe page and put it out there. And I ended up raising 6,100, you know, in 4 weeks. So I did it for 4 weeks. I said, on this date, I'll shave my hair off. And I was blown away, you know, like I wanted to at least reach 5 for her to make a real difference and help her out. But yeah, to go over that, you know, I was so grateful to all the community that stepped up and donated and showed love and support towards Erin. And I know it meant the world to her too, you know. So yeah, that's the story behind that. It was just the best feeling to be able to give her that money and know that it'll help her out so she can concentrate on her healing and stuff. But with that, yeah, like the hair came off, and you know, I donated my hair to I think it's called Variety. It's for, so they make wigs for young kids that have got, you know, they're unwell and they want wigs, you know, hair. So that was amazing too. It's the best feeling to be able to do something like that. I felt amazing. I had to coach my 6-year-old daughter weeks beforehand, saying, Mummy's not going to have hair. And she had a meltdown and cried. And, you know, she's like, no, please don't cut it off. And then when I sat down and explained to her that, it doesn't matter if mum doesn't have no hair or not, like it's important. It's to help somebody who's unwell. And I was so proud of my little daughter because she got it. I was trying, it was a really good lesson for her that beauty is not about how long your hair is or whatever. It's what you do for people in your life that makes up who you are. That shows the beauty in you, not what you look like, daughter. And, when she came home from school and all my hair was gone, she's like, oh, Mum, you still look beautiful. It's not about what you look like. She was copying what I told her. And so, one of my sons was like, what did you do that for? Like, and the two older boys, my two older teenage boys were like putting their gangster hats on me and, having fun with it. But it was, it was, apart from being freezing cold because it's winter, I love to be able to do something like that for somebody. And, in the award night, I have to confess, the award night when I've got that little wrap on my head, that's not, that wasn't me just trying to be stylish. That was because I stupidly saw some greys coming through and tried to rub a bit of dye on my hair and stained up my forehead and skull. So I had to get a piece of material and YouTube how to wrap a wrap on my head to cover up that stupidity. So
Nice.
You did it perfectly.
I'll admit to that.
Very quick thinking on your feet too. Good girl. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, well, lucky I did because I would have been getting up on the stage with a big stained up forehead.
No, well done. Well done. It's awesome to be able to do just to do something for someone else, right? It's feels pretty good to do it too. So again, well done. Congrats. That money's nothing to be sneezed at for anything, let alone what your friend has to go through. So
Exactly.
kudos.
Yeah.
Well done.
I mean, that's the thing that probably didn't bother me, but everyone was sending me messages saying, how courageous I was and all that. And it really, that kind of bothered me a little bit because my hair's it's going to grow back. It already is. It's grown so quick. And the real courage is what my mate's doing, getting up every day. She's got children. She's fighting a deadly disease. And that to me is being courageous. Do you know what I mean? So that to me, a lot of people were, it's them showing their love and support. I get that, but I didn't really feel courageous at all. I just felt, I feel like she is, and she's openly sharing her story for other people to create awareness about women to get your checks and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that was a little bit of the thing that I just wanted to say that because yeah, like I said, it kind of did me a favor because I train so much. My hair is always just in a sweaty bun anyway. So it's better off being made into a wig for a little person that needs it,
Yep.
Awesome. Look forward to you growing it nice and long again so you can maybe help out some more young kids. Who knows, Nikita, in the future?
Maybe. I'm kind of feeling this though. It's so easy to keep, like I don't have to worry about nothing.
Well, Lovey and I haven't got many options, so you're doing it for us because we can't. So how we feel.
It's kind of liberating. I've felt so free since I got rid of the locks,
Yeah, it's like two boobs. It's fantastic. We put our heads together. It's brilliant. You can do that. Right.
Yeah. All right, Nikita, thanks for spending some time with us. What we do want to just touch on, like the opening question, and we never got to it, but let's get to it now, is what actually Naidoc means to you in 2022, after 2 years of COVID, after so many challenges. I finally feel that Naidoc is actually getting a little bit of exposure this year more than any.
Yeah.
So just tell us a little bit about what it really means to you this year.
Yeah, well, like I said, with the boxing program and all the kids, I really wanted to have someone there to explain to them what the meaning of Naidoc is and the history of it. Because to be honest, like I was raised within the community, and as a child, I really just thought it was all these cool events that we just go to. I didn't know the history behind it, So as I got older, obviously I learned, but yeah, it was important for me to to bring someone in to talk to the kids about that, because I wanted them to have the opportunity to know it from when they're young, what it really means, especially the young ones that are in out-of-home care and foster care, because I wasn't sure, when will they have the opportunity to learn it next, So, but this year in particular, to be honest, since my father passed away, I've struggled with Naidoc Week the last couple of years, just because this was his week. He's a muso. He always sang at the march and stuff like that. So it's been rough the last couple of years, Dad not being there, because he loved Naidoc Week. This was his thing. And then we had 2 years of COVID, and a lot of us hadn't seen each other. Well, we haven't for 2 years. And then it's still a real risk to be around our elders and stuff like that, because it's still hovering around. So this year it feels special because we're able to reconnect. And that's what Naidoc Week is about. It's about celebrating Aboriginal people and all our achievements, and that we are growing and like our voices are finally starting to be heard. And that's very important, because we haven't been heard for for years and years and years. And it is feeling like we are starting to be acknowledged and recognized and heard by the wider, by Australia in general, the people of Australia. And so this year, it's special to me. It was feeling really good before I even won the award, and then that was just lovely. It was a beautiful thing as well. And yeah, like I said, it was very important for me to pass that down to the kids that I'm working with, to give them that opportunity. I really just scraped that Naidoc event together really last minute, but it was lovely. Sometimes the things that you just throw together work the best. So, and there's been a lot of people, like, even though I don't have solid funding to keep going on with the program, there has been a lot of people that have stepped up to help out. And before we wrap up, I need to acknowledge the trainers that step up every week and train the kids 4 times a week. These are professional boxers, boys that I train with, but especially my trainer, Ross Richmond, he owns that factory, and he's opened that whole space up to these kids. He told me when I said, will you help me out with the kids? If I get some kids here training, we didn't think it was going to be that many, but he said, not a problem, bring them and we'll train them, we'll look after them. So, that none of them are getting paid, none of us are. They're just purely doing it because they want to see the best in the kids. And because they see, like I said, boxing gives you a family, and they are like my family. So when they would see me coming and stressing out about my sons and the youth in my community, they could see it in me. I don't do well trying to hide things. So they wanted to help me, and then I'm so grateful for them, because they're not part of the Aboriginal community, but they've opened up, they've given their time to all these kids. They don't just train them. They ask how they're going, how their day was at school, can they support them in any other way? They're more than just training the kids. And obviously, and then there's other people that are stepping up to support, like the youth, the Darebin youth, the Northlands Youth Hub. There's a worker there that comes and, brings food for the kids and all that kind of thing. And Northcote Your Health donated money so I could get all the kids Naidoc t-shirts. So I have to pick them up tomorrow. It's a massive order, but they donated that money so the kids could have a Naidoc shirt to go to the march in. So people are chipping in here and there, and it'll just build, hopefully. But yeah, Naidoc Week to me it's about celebrating Aboriginal people and their achievements, and that, we are still here after all these years, and we're starting to break cycles. And that's what I really am trying to do with everything that I do moving forward, is breaking these cycles, that these destructive cycles that have come about from, colonization and the transgenerational traumas that have been passed down. That's the stuff that I'm trying to do what I can to break, because there's just way too many of us locked up, especially the youth, too many of them in the youth justice system. There's so many. And I just want these kids to I don't want them to be statistics. You know, I want them to have good lives and be productive, you know.
Well, there's one thing for sure, and that's you're doing your best. And that's all you can do. You can sit there and I can tell you one thing, it becomes infectious what you do, Nikita, and good people surround good people. And you are leading that charge in respect of from what you were taught as well, mind you. So you were taught that the people you're around, we wish you all the best at your next boxing endeavor. So you must let us know when you're fighting again.
Yes, I need to get stuck into training. You know, the kids have taken up all my time. So
I was going to say, in amongst all this, you probably don't have much time to do much else. I know you do so much stuff on the side, including those little beautiful earrings.
Oh, yeah.
You've got, give those a little plug as well. If anyone needs to, hit up Nikita and she'll help you out. But Nikita, thanks for your time today, most importantly.
Thank you.
I always said to you that, and with the guests we've had on tonight, these were little 10 or 15-minute chats, but they always should be so much more than that. So I think my little 10-minute teaser was to get you in and get you to commit. But, I thank you so much for coming on, mate, and I look forward to catching up with you and having a yarn and chatting about life.
Thanks, Aaron. I will be in contact with you to work out these uniforms for the kids. So
look forward to it.
I'll be annoying you soon.
No problem at all. All right. Well, all the best and enjoy the rest of Naidoc week and the weekend.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
There. Wow.
Beautiful. Yeah, that was pretty powerful. She's an incredible person, Nikita. And shout out to a friend of mine and a cousin of Nikita's, Dixon Patton, who will get back on hopefully in the next couple of weeks to talk about some of the Indigenous designs that he's been doing recently in the V8 space
awesome.
Up there in Townsville. So we'll talk about that. Yeah, what did you think? What do you think, mate? It's been a big night.
I just think, just touching on Nikita, I know that there's hundreds and thousands of other leaders in her community that are like that. And I go back to what I said at the start. It's encouraging who set the best examples that Australia could ever ask for. Give them that light, give them that kudos. You know, let's get our priorities right about what we actually want to show in mainstream media, in social media, in just the way we actually should be seeing things. You know, and the work that Nikita does. I mean, I would value that 1,000,000 times over anything a politician ever gives us, for instance. So, all power to her, all power to all the people that help her and all the rest of it. It's just awesome. Loved it. Loved hearing. It's great.
Yeah, it's been a special night. Look forward to capping it off on Saturday night with our two first guests, with Matt Jogow and Kerryn Field. So it's been a big night. We planned for a 30-minute, 40-minute, never ever happens. We pretty much did two 45-minute segments tonight that we'll probably split the audio for the podcast. But mate, thanks for jumping on. Cuz, look forward to having you back hopefully next week. We've got a couple of exciting guests coming up. Ryan Sterling next week to talk about his new album. And we've also got a little secret guest we've got coming up that let's talk about eating competitions. Let me just leave it at that, and we'll see which guest we can get on hopefully next week. So look forward to catching up, mate, and enjoy the week, enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you too.
Stay safe.
Peace out, everyone. Look after yourselves.